How to live manifestation. Most people think manifestation is something you do, like a vision board, an affirmation, a wish. Well, affirmations and vision boards are great, but that's not all. What if it is something you live? The difference between people who manifest and people who don't isn't just belief. It's embodiment. This episode is about what that actually looks like in real life, not theory, lived experience. Every great story has a moment, the one where everything shifts. Welcome to the Become Empowered podcast, where real leaders pull back the curtain and show you exactly how they did it. I'm Sabine Quenberg, performance communication coach, keynote speaker, author, and your host. I have spent my career on stages, real ones and invisible ones, and I know this. The most powerful transformations don't happen in the spotlight. They happen in the quiet moments of decisions, resilience, and radical courage. Before we dive in, if this podcast moves you, challenges you, or gives you that one thing you needed to hear today, please follow, like, and share it with someone who needs it too. That's how we grow this community together. Some episodes, I'm sitting down with entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, coaches, and bold leaders who have faced the hard stuff and kept going. Other times, it's just you and me, going deep into the mindset, strategies, and the gumption it takes to become who you were always meant to be. Either way, we talk confidence, leadership, resilience, and the real story behind the growth. This is Become Empowered. Let's get into it. Today, I'm sharing with you the embodiment, what I call lived manifestation, that I have incorporated into my life knowingly and unknowingly for a long time. As of this recording, I am 2 days shy of my birthday. And when I hit my big 6-0 birthday, I made a decision to do something extraordinary every single year moving forward. Something I remember, something that I've never done before, something that scares me a little bit even. And I started out by jumping out of an airplane when I was turning 60. And one of the things I always wanted to do is driving a race car. Driving on a racetrack and just being excited, racing someone or around the circle. And for some reason, it never happened. And this year, I thought, maybe I'm going to do it this year. Then again, something came in the way, in a good way. I have friends coming and flying in from Virginia who are visiting, and I have another friend organizing a whole themed birthday party for me. So it's something special in and of itself. And that is good enough for me. However, sometimes you can be surprised what's happening. Maybe something that's not necessarily in your time frame, on your timeline. Last week, I was the keynote speaker at an event. It was a very upscale event. I did my keynote in the morning, and then in the afternoon and evening, they had a special event planned for all the participants, and they invited me to come as well. I had no idea what it was, but I'm always up for a good time. We entered a bus. We were picked up from the hotel and had an hour drive. What I didn't know is where that bus took us. It took us to the BMW Driving School and Performance Center in Thermal, California, which is an amazing event where you can drive a race car and have that race car experience. My goodness, I got my birthday wish just a week ahead. But I'm fine with that. You know, sometimes the universe presents something to you that is not on your timeline or how you've pictured it. But here's the thing. I never let go of that vision. I always knew from the bottom of my heart that this will happen. Maybe not on my birthday this year, but it will happen. I knew it. I felt it. I smelled it. I could see myself in a race car. And sure enough, it came early. And I tell you, it was a great experience, especially me as a German driver. I drove a BMW on the Autobahn with 220 kilometers per hour, and I just love speed. So here I was in a special made up BMW that, well, you basically, if you push that gas pedal, I mean, it goes like, wow, from 0 to 100, like in 3 or 6 seconds, whatever. And then we also had, so there were two cars. So we were racing against another car. It was just a straight line. So not a whole track, just a straight line, but it was fast. And then you had to land in a box that was marked with 4 cones. If you go too fast and out of the box in the front, disqualified. Your rear is hanging out. Yes, you're also not the winner, even if you arrived there for the as number one. So everything had to work, and then you had to brake. If you brake too early, the other one is before you. If you brake too late, you're out. So it was very exhilarating, and that brake was hard. I mean, bomb, and you stood like in no time, not like the regular car that we are driving. So that was very exciting. And then there was there was a obstacle course, and you were sitting in the mini, like the car, the minis. You maybe remember the Italian Job where Charlize Theron, I think that's her name. Charlize, that's right. She was in a mini, and there were car races. Absolutely amazing. And so I felt like I'm in a movie now. I am right there in the Italian Job. And it was, again, fast. You have to go, wow, wow, wow. And then the last one was straight again, brake and arrive in the box. And then there was another car race track, which is just around, but with no control. So if you go too fast, your car was spinning. So it was kind of a spinning car, whatever they call it. Great. I loved everything. And then the very last track, I almost missed that one. That was a real track with S-curves and straight, but they didn't allow us to drive that. But we could drive with a real race car driver. And that's what I did. So I was the passenger. And boy, let me tell you, that was scary because you are not in control. Of course, you're buckled in. But at one point, I was sure that we would go off the racetrack. But no, in the last minute, he had the control of the car, and the wheels were screeching, and we swing around. It was exhilarating. When we were finished, I could feel it in my stomach a little bit, I must say. So I was glad when it was over. But then there was a photographer. I said, I wanted to take some pictures. It's always great if somebody else is sitting in there. And I was ready to go to my party to have something to drink and something to eat. But then I said, sure, I would do it again. So I did it a second time, and I even filmed it. So it was fun. It was fun. So that was my early birthday gift that I had manifested for many, many years. And it never came to fruition until the universe presented it to me even better, because I didn't have to pay for it, because those things can be quite pricey, but it was a lot of fun. And that is what I'm talking about. And here is the formula behind the magic. It's thoughts plus emotions plus actions equals outcome. And this is the law. It's not a suggestion. You can look it up. There are so many books written about manifestation. But one thing is very important. These 3 components are crucial. the thoughts that can be visual thoughts, visual thinking, a thought that you have, oh, I want to do it, creating your visual board, which is, of course, an action you take. So to have something physical in your hands, but everything has to be connected with your emotion. When you do something or want to do something that excites you, there is an energy and synergy going on when you have that emotion, and you're more likely to take action, right? So that's so super important. Manifestation without action is just daydreaming. Most people get the thought part, right? But few people master the emotional connection, feeling it as it was already there, already real. And here is the magic that starts to happen. When you feel something and see something and even bring yourself sometimes in situations to make it even more real, that's when the universe starts to conspire, if you will, right? In this case, in my case, it was. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality. I remember one of the speakers I heard talking about how he met Arnold Schwarzenegger when Arnold Schwarzenegger still was a bodybuilder, Mr. Universe and all those good things. And he interviewed him. And during his interview, he asked him, what's his next goal? What's the next step? What does he want to do next now that he has won Mr. Olympus and Mr. Universe? He expected everything from building a gym or doing something in that realm. But what Arnold Schwarzenegger actually said floored him. Arnold said, I'm going to be the biggest box office movie star. The reporter was like chuckling inside because Arnold just finished like a B movie that flopped. He had this thick accent. And so his follow-up question was underneath his chuckle. So, Mr. Schwarzenegger, how do you think you will achieve that? Now, listen to Arnold's answer. What he said was, easy. Just the same way I became Mr. Universe. I work hard. And even if I couldn't push up another weight, I did it anyways. And this is how he did it. He just went after it. He put himself in the situation. He said, I'll see myself already achieving it, already being on the movie set. And then he put himself into action. He went to acting schools, improved his skills, and went on to sets and got himself into the circles that made it possible. And this is where the action part comes in. Yes, your thoughts first. Yes, the emotion, but you still have to take action, learning skills. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about my invisible stage. That's the preparation part. You learn the skills even before you need them. That is the manifestation pure. I always think about that example. And of course, the rest is history. When Arnold became the Terminator, from there, he became a box office movie star. In my book, Gumption, I talk about how we can keep our mind focused on what we want. Because so often we are distracted and our mind gets poisoned by negativity through the news that we consume, even sometimes if we don't want to, but if we are in a restaurant and there's a news channel or in the airport or whatnot, or we hear something, or we stay with a group of people and there's negativity. There's so many ways that negativity is coming to us. Sometimes we are inviting it in because we are watching the news or we are surrounding ourselves with negative people. First thing I would say, change that. But other than that, sometimes we can't help it. Now, take a glass of water and picture this glass of water dirty. And that dirty water represents the negativity that is sometimes in our lives. How can we get this water clear? If you put that dirty water under a faucet and let some clean water run, eventually that dirty water gets lighter, less dirty, and eventually it gets clear. Okay? Now, this is the same thing we have to do with our mind. We have to feed our mind with positivity and the vision that we have for our goals, the things that we want to manifest in our lives, the things that we want to achieve in our health, in our finances, in our personal life, love life, business, no matter what it is. Keep that vision, the emotion strong by, and here comes the action in, and that is the faucet. We have to constantly reinforce that through mantras. I have a mantra right now on my phone that I listen to in the morning and in the evening, what my next goal is that I want to achieve, and I stay focused on that. That's what I want to manifest. And I see it myself being already in this situation, having achieved that, having that amount in my bank account. The more clear you can be, the faster you can achieve that. Okay? And that is the power of our mind. And when we talk to our subconscious mind through meditation, then something happens. The universe conspires, and maybe not on your timeline. Maybe you want to have something tomorrow, but it takes a little bit longer, or in 1 month, because sometimes we overestimate what we can do in 1 month, but we underestimate what we can do in 1 year. That car race took a few years to manifest, but I never let it out of my sight. That is important to understand. Some of the manifestation frameworks I am sharing here in my new book, Gumption, that's being released on August 4th. And you can get an advanced reader's copies, by the way, if you let me know. And now that I'm thinking about that my birthday is only 2 days away, my birthday wish is that this book gets into as many hands as possible. And one way is to have it in bookstores. And here in the United States, we have a bookstore called Barnes and Nobles. And that bookstore has kind of a unwritten policy, so to speak. And that is, if I would have 300 pre-orders at Barnes and Nobles, they will carry the book in the bookstores because they see, oh, yeah, people want that book. It's relevant. And so if this is something that calls your name, then I ask you if you would pre-order that book at Barnes and Nobles if you are here in the US. But if you're not, you can order it at any bookstores of your desires because it's literally available at any bookstores around the world. So just have to ask for Gumption by Sabine Quenberg. And if you pre-order it, let me know and I will send you an advanced reader's copy. And not only that, but I will also invite you to my book launch party. It's going to be a virtual party and it's also going to be an in-person party. So it depends on where you are in the world. You can choose. You can either come here where I am doing it. And of course, this will be announced, or you can join me online. But thank you in advance if you do that. I appreciate it. And that would be my biggest birthday gift that I can think of. If we get enough pre-orders together to get it into those bookstores. And I want to leave you with this. As a performer, as a musician, I know how important feelings are. And music is one aspect that will help you with the manifestation process. And I share this in my book because we have to use our imagination to create those vivid pictures. The more we can do it, see it, hear it, smell it, the more detailed we are, that triggers emotions. But then we also have to understand sometimes we just had to let go. Because if we are too much in that, I want to have it, and it brings negative emotions to it because we think, I might not get it, I might not get it, I want to have 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 it. That's not good either. You always have to stay in the positive and be aligned and understand that there is higher power at work. Whatever your belief system is, you may call it God, universe, higher power, it doesn't matter. But there is that higher force that I believe is in each life that can help you on your quest. And then the emotional part of music. Music can bring something to you that evokes emotions. Music can elevate that feeling. Music can get you in the right mood. Music is a powerful tool to use in your manifestation story or in your manifestation alignment, in your manifestation action. It is a powerful tool if you want to live your manifestation. This was my episode for today. Okay. Manifestation is not, I'll believe it when I see it. Manifestation is, I'll see it because I believe it. I always believed that I will do a race or sit in a race car or being on a race track. I always knew that. And I always saw it. And manifestation isn't just wishful thinking. It's conscious co-creation. Think about that. We all are co-creator. Our creator gave us this life. Our creator gave us ability to think, to feel, to move, to take action. And at the end, it's up to each one of us to take the actions necessary. You are the master of your thoughts. No one can get inside your head unless you allow it. And this is oftentimes when I think back, when I was younger, I used to blame circumstances. I used to blame other people for why this happened, why I was late, why I don't have what I have. Until I learned that if you blame someone else, you have them have control over your life. You give up control. But if you understand that you are the master of your thoughts, you are the master of your life, and you do not blame anybody else, including yourself, then you have control over your life and you can take action. Because if you let go of the control, you have to wait for someone else to fix it. But you can. Now, with that said, I don't have control over the weather. If it's raining and I don't have the proper rain clothes, I'll get wet. As my father always used to say, there's no such thing as bad weather. There are only bad clothing choices. Do I have control over the economy? Not really. Maybe like a tinsy little thing by what I can contribute, what I buy, the choices that I make. Yeah. But I'm not the only one who can all of a sudden say, okay, tomorrow the stock market is up or we have a booming economy. No. But what I do have control over is my own economy. what I do with the circumstances that I am presented of, right? So if I see there is nothing in my bank account, I could just sit back and wait for someone to fill it up, or a government or a person or my boss or anything, right? Or I can make a decision to say, I'm doing something about it. I'm getting a job. I'm working for the man. I'm starting my own business. I am selling lemonade. I mean, whatever it is, you get the gist, right? It's your decision to take action. And that is how you make things happen. And this is no different if you want to manifest something in your life. If what I shared with you today resonated with you and you wanted to learn more of how we can possibly work together or how you can get some free resources, I invite you to go to sabinequenberg.com/resources. There you can also find my calendar where you can schedule a time for a short discovery call to see if there is something I can help you with. Maybe you can work together a little bit closer, or at least I can guide you into the right direction. Either way, it's fine with me, but this could be possibly the most important 20 minutes that you spend. Thank you for spending this time with me on Become Empowered. If this message spoke to your heart, make sure you follow, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, let your voice rise, let your light shine, and keep becoming empowered.